Hi guys, on this video, I'm going to show you a step-by-step process on how I became a flight attendant. Let's begin.
This is my look, my life, my book. This is my destiny. This is my destiny.
Step 6, obtaining conditional job offer or CJO. Alright you guys, welcome to step 6, obtaining CJO. So you went through all the steps, now you're waiting if you get the job. And CJO, by the way, is conditional job offer. Just from the word itself, conditional job offer, meaning you have to pass the training before you actually got the job. And it's not a guaranteed job. Now that that's clear, let's continue this step. As I have mentioned on my last video, I went to 2 face-to-face interviews. So the first one was with regional airline, and the way I got my CJO with regional airline is different the way I got my CJO from the second face-to-face interview, which is main airline. So let's start with the regional airline. So went to all the process, got to my face-to-face interview, then we were all sent back home, and they said they're gonna give us about a week to 2 weeks before we get, an email or a call if we get a CJO or not. So after the face-to-face interview, went back to the airport, and while I was waiting for my next flight, which by the way, if you watch my previous video about this, I was on standby for like, I don't know, 5-6 times, I don't remember. But I was on standby for a whole day. It was a mess. Somebody made a mistake on my booking for my ticket back home for some reason. I ended up being on standby. But that's beside the point. So while I was waiting at the airport, this was with the regional airline, I got an email. Remember, they told us that we have to wait a week to 2 weeks to know if we get a CJO or not. So I was waiting at the airport, got an email saying that they're offering me a CJO. That's right. They sent me an offer via email that same day. And I was so pumped. So even when I was on standby, I was just like all happy and smiling and just really naturally high because I just got my very first CJO, baby. That's right. So I got my CJO. What did I do? I replied, thanked them. I have an interview like 5 or a few more days with the main airline, and I have to answer them before that interview. So I replied very nicely that I was so happy and very excited about the CJO, but I do need more time. As you know, this is a major decision, so if you could give me a few more days. And that was my email. That was such a risky email for me to do, because what if they just replied like, all right, then we'll give it to somebody else. Well, they did not give it to somebody else. They told me that they were willing to wait a couple more days, and they said it was okay. That was great, and that worked out well because a few days after that, I had an interview, a face-to-face interview with one of the main airlines in the United States. So that was actually my top choice. So on the previous video, you'll see what happened on that face-to-face interview. I wanted to continue that story. So after the presentation and the Q&A, we were called one at a time. I was like one of the last 10 people probably sitting in that room. It was 30 of us. So I was one of the last people there. And I'm like, all right, what's happening to the people that were called? They didn't come back. I'm kind of like really like excited but nervous, but I'm like, I just want to know what's going on. So they called me, and the lady that called me, she was not there on the one of the interviewers. She said, you don't know me. I know, I just showed up. You know, she's pretty much another interviewer, but I think she wasn't there for that interview. So she came to help to the last part of the interview. So this is the same day, by the way, on the interview. I just want to reiterate that if I didn't. So this is a continuation of the story from the face-to-face interview. So the lady called me, and she was like, all right, we're gonna go to another room. So it's just by myself. It's a one-on-one this time. And I said, all right, let's go. I was excited and nervous. Went to that room. She asked me a couple of questions. I forgot. I think if I could guess correctly, I think it's something like, you know, do I really want this job? Something like that. And I said, I really want this job, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember my answer. At that time, I was floating. Because I thought we're done with the interview. And now she's asking me another question. And I'm like, oh, but I said, yeah, I really love this job. So I really would love to get this job. That's what I told her. I think that was the question. So I'm like, and then she asked me again, so there's one more thing that I need you to do. And she handed me this piece of paper. Actually, I think I have this piece of paper. She handed me this piece of paper, and she told me the last thing that I would like you to do is to read this piece of paper. So in my head, oh, this is another flight attendant PAs. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. So I just have to like, all right, reading, here it comes. So I read it. And I wish I had that paper right now because I really want to read it. Hold on. I think I have it here somewhere. I wish I have it because I really want to read it. That paper is super important. Let me go find it. I'll be back. Oh my god, you guys. I cannot believe I found it. That's right. This is the paper. All right, I'm gonna do a reenactment of this. So remember, this lady, we haven't seen her until that time that she called me. She just pretty much joined the group. So she called me and I'm like, oh my god, new face. What is she gonna do? Is she gonna ask me a lot of questions? Is she gonna repeat all the questions they asked? So I'm like, all right, I was ready for it. I was like, let's go. So we went to this room, just the two of us. It was a different room. So I'm like, okay, this is another test. Is this a one-on-one question? So she asked me, okay, there's a couple more questions before we proceed with the process. Something like that, as far as I remember. And I'm like, all right, I'm ready. I thought I was done with questions. So she asked me, I think the question was, how much do I love to have this job? Or do I really like this job? You know, something like that nature. So of course, I said I do really love to have this job because that's really what I wanted. So I told her how much I love to be a part of the company. And I told her how much I wanted to contribute to the success of the company and all that stuff. And then, okay. So she was giving me a poker face, you guys. I didn't know if my answer was fine or not. She didn't say anything. She was just like, okay. And then, okay, there's one more thing. She gave this to me. There's one more thing I want you to do. I want you to read this out loud. She said, read it out loud. So I'm like, all right. In my head, this is another one of those flight attendants PA that, you know, they're testing if you know how to read stuff or if you know how to do PA. So I read it. It goes like this. Welcome aboard Flight 1 with non-stop service to an amazing future. The recruitment team is pleased to extend to you a conditional offer. Exactly what I did. I stopped. I still got the goosebumps as soon as I read that word, conditional offer. All right, let me continue. I am getting goosebumps all over right now. Oh my gosh. All right. So, to extend to you a conditional offer to attend initial flight attendant training. Following successful completion of the training, you may be awarded the flight attendant position. Congratulations. I was just stunned. I was totally crying inside, and I just want to keep my composure. I don't want to be just like, oh my God, you gave me the job. You know what I'm saying? But deep inside of me, I was crying like a baby, like seriously, like a baby. Yes, this was the exact paper that she had me read. And I was so like emotional and oh my God, I really cannot believe how I kept that emotion to myself. I did even told her I am about to cry, but I'm not because I am being interviewed. I exactly told her. I think word by word, I did tell her that. I said, I cannot cry right now because I'm being interviewed, but I can jump, and I was jumping. Like, I'm jumping for joy. I'm jumping for joy. So yeah, that's how I got the CJO with the main airlines. And after that, so we went to another room to do some picture. I think it's not really for identification. It's for something that they have to use. And then they did, I filled out some paperwork, everything. And then after that, right there and there, they did all the drug tests, the background investigation documents. We had to fill out a lot of like documents. They didn't waste any single minute. As soon as I got the CJO, I was passed to another group and did all of that background check and drug test, and I did the reach test too. I'm pretty sure that I was going to be okay with the reach test. And then I did the seat belt, what do you call that? The jump seat test. So you're gonna be able to fit in the jump seat, you know, and you're gonna be able to reach the thingy on the overhead bin. And then it was just like cloud nine the whole time. I was just like so happy. I didn't care how long was the process. Probably it was there for another hour to finish, you know, the process, because we had to drink a lot of liquids so we can pee. And they need, you know, a certain amount of pee, I guess. So we did all that stuff. I don't even remember. Yeah, I think that's all we did. We did the drug test, the background check. We did a lot of documents, like tons of documents that we filled up. And then I saw all the people that made it that day. I think it's probably around 8 people that I saw there. 8 to 10 maybe. So it's 30 of us there. So maybe it's a third of us. Maybe even less. Not a lot of people made it, which is really shocking, because I don't know, I mean, I know it was really nerve-wracking, but I feel like they were all great, you know. like especially my group, their answers were pretty. Some of them were super nervous, you can tell, but some of them was really confident. Most of them are confident. I was nervous, but I just try not to show it. And they know you're gonna be nervous once you get there, as long as you can handle the situation that you're in, you know, as long as you can handle the questions, and as long as you're gonna give your best answer based on your experience. I'm so glad I kept this, you guys. I'm so happy that I get to share this with you, my actual piece of paper that they gave me for my CJO. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. It all starts with this thing. I'm so happy. All right, you guys, that's it for now for step 6, obtaining CJO. Watch out for the next video on step 7, flight attendant training. Hope this video helps you with your goal to become a flight attendant. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask down below. I'd be glad to answer your questions. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to my channel, JojoTV. Thank you very much for your time. Maraming salamat po. Mwah!
This is my look, my life, my book. This is my destiny. This is my destiny. You can sit down with your trouble, but for me it's plain to see.